Hey guys, and welcome to our number 2 picks for top 5 manga franchises. Let's get into the episode.
Okay, cool. So here's one that's probably the first series on my list that isn't shonen.
Or manga.
Although it was published in Shonen Jump, Weekly Jump. It's Nisekoi. So
Yes.
for those of you, So for those of you who don't know what Nisekoi is, it is like a rom-com like harem series. It's one of those ones where I picked it up. Just I think one of the characters, the main character, Kirisaki, she was in J Stars, and I didn't really know much about the series, so I just thought I'd watch the first series and see what it's like. And it started off as a really like a guilty pleasure sort of one. So like I was watching this like thinking, oh, it's your typical rom-com. This guy's there, and then like he's basically the storyline of it is that like he goes to school and he really fancies this girl, but then this other girl moves into the city from America, and her family are basically from like an American gang.
Okay.
And his family are the Yakuza. So, and they're having turf wars or whatever, and it's ruining the city. So the fathers of each gang decide that they're gonna pair the two characters, Raku, who is the main guy in the story, and Kirisaki together, who's the main girl. And basically they hate each other. They absolutely hate each other, but like they're forced to be together because they want to basically have these two gangs stop fighting.
So a political marriage.
Political marriage, 100%, yeah. And like they, as I said, they absolutely hate each other. They have to go on dates or whatever. But like every time they go on a date, the gang members are actually following them, like in secret, like trying to spy on them to make sure that like this is all like going well, or like each one in the relationship isn't actually hurting the other one.
Yeah.
Because they're so precious of these family members. And like, and so Raku is also like, he can't confess his love to this girl that he likes in the school because he has to pretend to be in a relationship with this person he hates. And it is like, it's a great series. Like, it's a great series. It's cheesy, and it's like, it's the typical like one chapter story sort of thing where like they go on a date and it's like, oh, there's this drama, but then it gets resolved by the end of it. And then they add in like certain characters from like Raku's past or Kirisaki's past, and like it's a nice light-hearted like rom-com series, and it's just like it's one of those ones I didn't expect to like whatsoever, but then I just got into it and I was like, man, this series is just like, it's so good. And then it's your typical like they hate each other at first, and then they start developing feelings for each other, but then he also still likes that girl that's at his school. And then there's all these other girls as well that come into it. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I know that people look at this series and they'll be like, nah, this has been done so many times before. There's like so many other series like this. What makes it different? Like, it's a harem sort of thing. And like, it's just, sometimes it just doesn't, it's not what needs to make it different. It's just like, it's just nice. It's chill. If you ever watch the anime, the animation in it's really cool as well. It's bright and colourful. Like the music is like very like sort of, I don't know how to describe the music. It's it's like a poppy like sort of like bubblegumish sort of like music, but I'm not gonna get too much into that. I'm not gonna get bogged down. But the series just for me is just one of my all-time favourites. I don't know where it came from. That like I'm not exactly a person that's like I love all these rom-coms. I'm more definitely a shonen fan or a slice of life like series fan, but I just got into this out of nowhere, and I was like, this is quite good. Like the comedy in it's great. I like that, and the one thing about Nisekoi is that if you're a fan of it, you always have your best girl. Basically.
Oh, here we go, waifu talk.
Yeah. This is like total like otaku weeb thing going on right now.
Like he's gonna start a waifu war.
It's a waifu war. That's the best way to put it. It's for me, like watching the series, I was always like I wanted him to get with Kirisaki in total. It's so weird describing this. We've been just talking about all these battle mangas and these racing on these hard epic things. Then I'm just like, I want these two people to be together. I ship them.
Variety
like...
is the slice of life, right? Which is ironic because I actually personally don't like slice of life. That's why I haven't had much input. But I don't see why you like what you like, man. You know what I mean? Like, and it's good to have a variety of genres and series to put in there because you never know. Someone might listen to you and go and be like, "Yo, he was right. This is a really good series."
Yeah, I can't say exactly what makes this so much more stand out for me, like in terms of like the similar type of series with it. Like I think it's just one of those ones that I just liked from the moment I watched it. Like sometimes you are just like, oh, this is appealing. I like
Some things
this.
click and some things don't.
Exactly.
It's
I
hard
can't
to
even
explain
explain
stuff.
it why. Yeah. But I think the series ended sometime in 2016 or 17, I believe. But like for me, it's one of those ones that there's a period in Weekly Jump as well where like every series that was in the magazine, I'd read it. And like regardless of what it was, and like that was like it was Shokugeki no Soma, Haikyuu, Kuroko no Basket.
Yeah, that was quite a golden age of Shonen Jump.
Assassination Classroom is going on, Toriko is going on, like
all these series that didn't make
Bleach.
our lists.
Literally, there's so many honorable mentions I can mention before.
Oh, believe me, we could probably talk forever about honorable mentions because it's basically everything else that isn't on the list.
But it's just one of those series like that. I got into it through the anime, and I think the anime is brilliant. I love the anime, and the manga is also like spectacular as well. Like from my point of view. So if you ever wanted to get into the series, I think you could start off with either. Just be aware that the second series, there's only 12 episodes compared to the first like 24 episodes. So watching it, you don't even get close to where the ending is. Like it's very short. Like you get like to the main. There's like a peak in the story, like in the first series, and they do that well. It ends really well. But second series doesn't even have a peak at all. It's just like the one-off episode, so you don't really. It's kind of a letdown compared to the first. But yeah, I'd recommend the series if you're into that sort of rom-com genre. Like it's just like heartwarming, man.
I would suggest even if you're not into that kind of thing, give it a go anyway. It might be the one to change your mind. You never know.
Exactly. That's the thing. I watched it like going with no expectations whatsoever. I was like, I don't usually do this stuff, and I enjoyed it, man. I've watched a few other things after that. For me, it doesn't hit as well, or like otherwise they would have made the list. They're still great. Don't get me wrong. Like there's like a ton of rom-com series I've seen that I could recommend. But yeah, I'd say check it out if you're into it, like that sort of thing.
Wasn't expecting that. I'm gonna be honest.
You know? Oh
no.
Man, it's like that's the one thing I have. Like I'll go on about J-Star's Victory VS for ages, just because it was like one of my favorite Jump games, and Kirisaki is one of the support characters in it, so I always choose her. And then there's another main character that I choose as well, but they're in my number one series, so I'll leave that for a second.
Okay.
And yeah, Nathan, what's your number two?
My number two is another series, probably best known for memes nowadays. Fist of the North Star. Hokuto no Ken.
You are sha!
You are sha! Omae wo mo shinde. Nani?
It's brilliant. Yeah, you've chosen two great meme picks for your second and third.
The thing is, as fans of the series, the only thing I can really appreciate about memes of Initial D and Fist of the North Star is that it gains exposure for old series, and maybe one day we'll get a recreation or something, right? Fist of the North Star is the battle manga, I feel like. You want to see like martial arts made up martial arts that is ultra destructive and violent, Fist of the North Star is your one. The main character, Kenshiro, you've seen from the memes, he knows a style called Hokuto Shinken, which is specifically designed to destroy someone from the inside. Typically, they end up blowing up. They swell up and they explode. Okay? Then there's the other side of it, where there's the, 100 something schools of Nantos, which then is like each one is a different Nanto style, and Nanto is supposed to destroy you from the outside. Typically, it's people using their martial arts and then you get slashed up from the outside. It is a post-apocalyptic martial arts bloodbath, and I love it. Okay? It is just people fucking... Essentially, it's what happens in a post-apocalyptic world where the strongest people are the ones that studied self-defense. Because every strong person in that world is someone who was the last successor to their style. And it's basically all these people, and I won't say specifically just Nanto, because it's like a story thing as well, that Kenshiro is the 64th successor to Hokuto Shinken, but he was one of 4 pupils to study it. But Hokuto Shinken is only allowed 1 successor, so he has to kill his brothers in arms, like, because that's the way of the style and the school. But because nukes were set off, all the Nanto users, a lot of them have gone nuts, and they're now like the local warlord. And Nanto, the 100 schools of Nanto are always destined to fight, but they're supposed to be balanced out by Hokuto Shinken, like the final star of the Big Dipper. It's like a lot of elements are like mashed together to make it like really important. But what it comes down to is Kenshiro is supposed to go and beat the shit out of everyone. Like he is the judge, jury, and executioner. He is the justice of the world, and everyone who is not just is gonna die.
It's one of those series that is incredibly iconic, like for what it is.
It literally is. It is shonen. It's, to me, it, besides like certain other series that have some of the other shonen tropes, Fist of the North Star is one of the most iconic shonen to exist, as far as I can think.
No, I agree. I think it's one of those ones that I feel in the West it probably doesn't feel like it gets as much attention on it.
That's because in the West we didn't actually see it until I think around the late 70s, 80s, and then it died off. So for a lot of us, we've never, ever really heard about it. We've had some games come out over here. We had 2 Dynasty Warrior style ones, Ken's Rage 1, Ken's Rage 2, both pretty good. And then most recently the Yakuza style one that came out a few years back. The only thing is it's hard to recommend to someone to get into the series because it's really only the manga, because the anime, I believe the newest animes that came out were like OVAs, so they don't even follow like the main story as far as I know. The only anime that exists is like the really old one from the 80s, so it's questionable.
I can imagine it's one of those series that eventually might get picked up by Netflix, because
honestly, I would love it. I would love a new anime, right? The only thing is, a series like Fist of the North Star can't exist in a popular capacity nowadays because it is way too violent, just way too violent.
I reckon it could, you know. I think when you see stuff like what was it, Bucky the Grappler, or the whole Bucky series in general,
I guess,
like you're seeing a lot more of those type of things on Netflix now, like those Netflix exclusive animes, and I reckon like Fist North Star has that like star quality that's there, and you put that out on Netflix for an audience that will actually like, appreciate that sort of thing. It has the platform for it. I reckon it could do sick if they ever did decide to do that.
Look, trust me, I would love it. I would totally love that. But the only other way I can advise people to get into the series is there's a gacha mobile app. I used to play it. I forget what it's called. Just look it up. Fist of North Star on iPhone, Android. It's there. You can sort of learn the story from that too. It's the most up-to-date version of the game. There's a bunch of spin-offs as well. Like, you can learn about certain characters that become important at some point. There's actually a prequel series as well, Fist of the Blue Sky, and it's about the 62nd successor to Hokuto Shinken, conveniently also called Ken.
Does he look like Kenshiro as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's in China.
Okay, there's your twist.
But yeah, like, it always comes down to, like, you like fighting, you like seeing really hyper-violent stuff, Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Ken, done. Easy as.
I reckon, like, as you said, like, the reason why I never actually got into it is because I've never actually had, like, that. It's never been, like, not, it sounds a bit entitled, but offered to me. Like, with that sort of thing, like, there's no, like, you're not going to find that anime anywhere at all. Like, it's incredibly hard to try and find the old school stuff with it. And the manga doesn't feel like it's, like, that out there either. You won't find that on the volume.
It isn't, but that is because the manga is old. It predates Dragon Ball. So...
Yeah. I mean, if it ever did, like, if there ever was a remake of the anime, or, like, they, like, decided to up the visuals, or even, like, put some of the manga on the what was it, the Manga Plus app or something, or if there was a way to just check it all out.
I would love that. I'd
be 100% down for it. Like,
I'm not saying do it, but if you can find a way, and not just you specifically, Pepe, but, like, you who are potentially listening, if you can find a way, I don't condone it, but Fist of the North Star is worth your time. And it's a shame that it's not had a bunch of re-releases and stuff. It's such a good series, and it feels like a lot of the time it's a cult classic because only people who know like it. Anyone else who doesn't know sort of only really has seen the memes and it's like, haha, you're already dead. Done. But seriously, Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, nice, man. I'd like, if there's ever a platform out, I'll check it out for sure. And I guess, as Nathan said, if you can find a way, try and, like,
Do it.
try and find it. But
Do it.
obviously, the original sources, if you can find a way to access those,
please support
Try
the
and get
official
that as
release.
support the official release. There we go. That's the one. But yeah, I remember playing a few, like, Fist North Star games when they were on, like, Xbox and that. But
I mean,
that's as far as I know about.
They've been loads of, like, Fist of the North Star typically used to be 2D fighters way back when. There were loads of them. So it's had a fairly extensive, like, game history, but nowadays it's left to a gacha app, and if you're in Japan, pachinko machines. Lovely end to a brilliant series. And there you go, guys. That was number 2. Omae wa mou shindeiru, innit? Haha. And Nisakoi. Let's not forget Nisakoi. What did you think? Let us know in the comments. Like, favorite, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you next time.